We can do a big round of applause for Prabhu. For those of you who may not know Prabhu, him and his wife, Purnamasi Nataji, they both are initiated disciples of Srila Prabhupada, and they both have been married for 47 years. Over these decades, Prabhu has served in various capacities around Canada, but most specifically in Ottawa and Toronto. He's managed the temple communities there, but he's most importantly known for doing amazing Harinam Kirtan and Kirtan at the temple, as you all saw some time back. Didn't you think Prabhu was amazing? So Prabhu loves to do Kirtan, be it on the streets, be it at the temple. He is known for his enthusiastic Kirtans. And today, Prabhu is also going to be speaking for our Sunday Feast program. And followed by the talk, we'll be also having a small presentation about the upcoming festival of Rath Yatra. But without further ado, we'll pass it over to Krishna as Prabhu. Can we give another big round of applause?
Hi Krishna, thank you all. Thank you for coming today. I know it takes something out of your day to get here. Some of you may have come by transit, which is a little slow, but the traffic today, I'm sure, in Toronto was wild with the closing of the DVP for a while and everything. So I'm sure it takes a bit of a sacrifice to get here. And that is part of what I'm going to be speaking about today. The title of my talk today was, "What is your specialty?" And so everybody feels special, right? It's like, I'm the only one. I'm the only me. And so I feel special to myself. And you know, so many people, unless one's really experiencing a severe mental health issue, one will feel special. And if you're not feeling special today, then I think definitely you should think about getting some assistance. And the devotees are here to assist, but it may require some professional assistance as well. So, many of you may be, teachers or doctors or lawyers or, there's so many different occupations, and probably every one of you here has a story to tell about your occupation. And it's what makes you feel special in the world, because the world really is problematic, right? There are problems every day. We wake up and we're thinking about, oh, what problems do I have to deal with today, right? and so many people are working at jobs to try to alleviate those problems. It's just like you're thinking, well, I don't have a car, how am I going to get a car? And somebody out there is going, I can loan you the money for your car. That's my job. And so everybody has that special thing that they do for you to solve your problems. But we have to understand that all this problem solving doesn't really get us anywhere. I mean, the people here on Roxborough Street live in houses that are, $2 to $3 million, right? Are they enjoying their food any more than, we're enjoying our food? No. I mean, does it matter whether you eat off a gold plate or a lead plate or a leaf plate? When I first went to India, I remember we were eating off leaf plates, and we still do occasionally, but it's not as much as we did before. And so does it taste any different when it comes on a special plate? No, it tastes exactly the same. So have they solved any of life's problems more than we've solved any of our problems? No. And there are some people in the world that do try to avoid all problems. We see them often and today it's becoming a very rampant thing in our communities where people are homeless. And they have nowhere to go and no job to do, and a lot of them are not feeling very special to anyone because they don't feel that they really fit into society in some way. And so they've tended to kind of, not opt out, but it's really not their fault often. Often there's mental issues there as well, and but not always. Sometimes it's just the predicament. You know, everybody here. I was just looking at a little news article today about how him and his wife, they work at a great job. They make a fair amount of money, but with their house and their car and everything else, it leaves them practically nothing left over to eat almost. You know, so it's becoming very difficult to afford living in Toronto. And I'm sure all of you must think of that's putting an anxiety in you that, can I still afford to live here? And this family happened to be from Colombia, and they were actually saying, should I actually go? My parents brought me to Canada for a better life. Now I'm thinking I want to take my family back to Colombia to have a better life. Because when they went back there, they saw everything was much more simple and much more agrarian-based, and people took care of each other. It was a much more civil society. I mean, nowadays we see people are fighting all the time about everything. And so our uniqueness in this world, our way of fitting in and our way of solving problems is coming under attack. And if we just don't see any way out of that, it can really increase our anxiety and severely affect our mental health. So there is a way out of it. And Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Yagyartat karmano nyatra loko yam karma bandhana, that work is sacrifice for Vishnu must be performed, and work that is not performed as a sacrifice for Vishnu binds one to the material world. Therefore, one should always work with the consciousness that I am doing this for Vishnu, for Krishna. Everything that we do, Krishna, there's another verse where Krishna says, everything that you do, everything that you eat, everything that you offer, everything that you give away, all of that should be done as an offering unto me. So we have to live our lives as an offering to Krishna. And it really is. This movement is known as the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. And it really is about just becoming conscious of Krishna during the day. You can do whatever it is that you do in the material world, but just have your consciousness thinking about it as an offering to Krishna. Often we go to work and we're thinking, I'm just working for my family, I'm just working to make money so that I can live and like that. And that's true that you are doing those things. But if you actually just consciously say, but I'm going to go to work today, I'm going to do all that, and I may get my paycheck, but I'm going to do it as a sacrifice for Krishna, for Vishnu. And when one thinks like that, just having that consciousness, it actually begins to free one from the karma that one is accruing by working at that job. Because every job that we work at, if we're not conscious of Krishna, we are just karma bandhana. We are becoming bound, bandhana, by the karma. So if we really think about Krishna and offering everything to Krishna, then it becomes a way out of this cycle. And the ultimate cycle is the cycle of birth and death, the samsara. And the cycle of birth and death is going on, and it is driven by karma. The more karma that we accrue during our lifetime, the more karma that we have to go through in other lifetimes. And everything is bound up by karma. But Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Sarvadharman pratyajam mamekam sharanam vraja hang tvang sarva papebhyo mokshayashami ma suja. So basically, sin and karma are synonymous. Because anything that binds you to this material world, whether it's in the mode of goodness or in the mode of ignorance, it's still binding you to karma in this material world. So it is sinful activity. But Krishna says, if you surrender unto me, if you sarvadharman prityaja, just abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me, I shall deliver you from all sinful reaction. Do not fear. So we need to come to that point of offering everything to Krishna, and then whatever reaction we're getting, whether it be a good karma or bad karma, all of that will be annihilated, and we will no longer have to take birth, because we only have to take birth when we have karma. If you don't have karma, you don't have to take birth again. And you get to go back to the spiritual realm to be with Krishna. So it really is just a matter of consciousness. It's not Krishna is not demanding a whole lot from everybody. And, there's many churches out there which say that, you have to tithe, you have to give 50% of your income. There's some churches that do like that. Now, not everybody can do it. It's a very difficult thing to do in this age. I mean, just imagine if you all of a sudden had 50% less of your income. It would be hard to live, wouldn't it? But what Krishna says is that if you just offer me with love and devotion whatever you can, then I will accept it. And when Krishna accepts it, that's the beginning of your personal relationship with Krishna. Right? So when one has a personal relationship with Krishna, and the more that personal relationship grows to the point that it's absorbing your entire life and your entire consciousness, then all your karma disappears. And soon, Srila Prabhupada describes that you don't even have to wait until death in order to see Krishna face to face. We can actually see Krishna in this lifetime if we become totally absorbed in thinking about Him, offering everything to Him, and just trying to be absorbed in Krishna as much as possible. If we are totally absorbed in Krishna, then we can see Krishna face to face. And Srila Prabhupada was once asked, one time he was on a morning walk, and somebody asked him, do you see Krishna face to face? And Prabhupada said, yes. And so there was somebody there, one of the devotees on the morning walk, and it was a professor, I think, who hadn't been on a morning walk before, who asked Prabhupada that question, do you see Krishna? And the devotee said, well, Prabhupada sees Krishna in relation to, this is related to Krishna, that's related. And Prabhupada said, no, I am seeing Krishna just as I am seeing you. So we can get to that platform of seeing God face to face, but it requires 100% surrender of our consciousness. And again, that's why this is the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. So we can start small. Srila Prabhupada said, we don't, even we say that one should follow the 4 regulative principles. And when Prabhupada was asked by the devotees, Srila Prabhupada, it's very hard, we're telling people to follow these principles. Prabhupada said, actually, no. You don't want to tell them to follow the 4 regulative principles. You want to tell them to chant Hare Krishna. And take prasadam. Come to the temple, take prasadam, associate with the devotees. Have fun in Krishna consciousness. And then gradually, as you become more absorbed in Krishna, your desire for all those things will disappear. Meat eating, gambling, intoxication, and being unclean, all those, untruthful, all those things will disappear. You'll become truthful, you'll become clean, you'll become austere, and you'll give up the desire to hurt any creature. So you won't want to eat meat, for sure, because that definitely hurts other creatures. And so it just happens naturally. Let it happen naturally. And the same with the work that you do and the salary that you get. We're not asking that you give 50% to the temple. But what we do say is how much does this mean to you? How much does coming to the temple, coming to kirtan, seeing the deities, and seeing the devotees absorbed that are here, who go out every day and preach Krishna consciousness, how much does that mean to you to have this facility? So then you should just give from your heart how much that means to you. And that's what we're asking. And that's what Krishna's asking. If Prabhupada says in the purport to that verse, Patram Pushpam Palam Tvayam, that one can offer me a leaf, a flower, a fruit, a little water. So Prabhupada says in the purport, so even if somebody has nothing, they can still offer a leaf. I mean, and we can, especially in summertime in Canada, there's lots of leaves. But even in the wintertime, if you're just thinking, I have nothing, but I want to offer Krishna something. You could even go to an evergreen tree and take off a little bough of the tree and offer it to Krishna. With love and devotion, because Krishna doesn't need money. Krishna doesn't need us. Although he really wants us to have that relationship with him. But he doesn't really need us. He is completely Atmaram, self-satisfied. But he wants us to be as satisfied as he is. And we can only get that satisfaction by building that relationship. And so by just offering with love and devotion to Krishna. If we offer it with love and devotion, then Krishna says, yes, I am happy. And ye yatamam prapadyam te tangstatava bhajamiham, that as they surrender unto me, I reciprocate accordingly. Krishna's ready to reciprocate with you fully. And it's just a matter of how much are you willing to give to Krishna. If you give everything to Krishna, what do you think Krishna will give to you? Himself, exactly. And that's everything, because Krishna is everything. So Krishna will give himself to you, and everything will be fine. I mean, in this body, we may still have to grow old, and we may still have to die, but it'll be the last time. We'll never have to take birth again in the material world. We'll never have to grow old. We'll never have to get sick again. And we'll never die again if we really establish our personal relationship with Krishna. He's there in the spiritual world. He's saying, I want you to be here with me, enjoying this everlasting, ever-increasing happiness. And why are you not interested? Prabhupada said we go out on the street and we tell the people, look, all we're doing is chanting and dancing. Come with us. And Prabhupada said, and they're not interested. How can you not be interested? Everybody wants to dance and chant and take wonderful prasadam. How can you not be interested? So this is the facility that we have here, and we're trying to give it to as many people as possible. And I thank all of you for coming today. And I hope that you will go home thinking about what I've said today, thinking about if you've been to previous classes, think about what you've heard in those classes, and try to make it part of your life. Don't just go home and fall back into your old habits. Try to think about how you can actually become more Krishna conscious. And of course, the easiest way is to just chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we give it out freely. We don't charge anything for this mantra. And when you wake up in the morning, even if you just say, well, tomorrow morning I'm going to wake up and I'm going to, before I do anything else, I'm going to chant one Hare Krishna mantra. And then you should think, well, and before I have my breakfast, I'm going to think, I'm having my breakfast and I'm offering it to Krishna. Let me offer it to Krishna. And you can offer to Krishna just by saying the Maha Mantra. And again, you go, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. And then you're taking prasad because you think, I've given this to Krishna and now he's given it for me. And I can take. And if you do this throughout the day, you'll notice that each day you'll be becoming more Krishna conscious. You'll be seeing how Krishna is arranging many things in your life and making your life much more livable. As you know, life is getting unlivable almost these days, but your life will get much more livable, and you'll be able to be in that ecstasy of Krishna consciousness more often, till the point where eventually you might become completely Krishna conscious. Wouldn't that be great? Haribol! Haribol! So I really encourage everybody to just go home and make that little change in your life. Just chant the Hare Krishna mantra at least once a day. And I'm sure you will find that if you keep doing it for a week, just once a day, you'll go, wow, you know what? My week was better than all my weeks before. So what if I chant 2 mantras a day? Or 3 mantras a day? And gradually it will increase to the point where, you know, the initiated devotees here at the temple, we chant minimum 16 rounds every day, and we chant in kirtan and everything else, so it's a wonderful opportunity. But just to add that little bit, just do what you can for Krishna. That's all Krishna wants, that's all Krishna's asking. Just do what you can, become a little more Krishna conscious, and you will eventually see Krishna and be eternally happy and free from the cycle of birth and death. And all these other problems will automatically be solved, right? I mean, yeah, you know, I may not have a lot of money, and I may not have the big house, and I may not have all these other things, but who cares? I'm not going to take birth again like everybody else. So that's the real gift of this Krishna consciousness movement, that you never take birth again. Sometimes on birthdays here we sing that song, may you never take birth again, may you never take birth again, may you never take birth again in this material world. And so that's what we're giving to everybody here today. Is it anybody's birthday today? Wow, a whole room of probably close to almost 300 people, almost every day of the year, and there's nobody's birthday. Amazing. Anyway, may you all never take birth again, and you can start approaching that goal just by chanting at least 1 mantra every day, and just begin to add that into your life, and you will find it will become easier and easier and easier to chant, and it'll become more and more and more attractive. And I think, according to the schedule that was given out, I have run out of time. So now we will be having the Rath Yatra announcement and some other announcements.
Thank you so much, Krishna Kaviraj Prabhu. Can we show our Ravana? Thank you so much once again, Prabhu, for taking the time to be here. Okay. Thank you. Okay, so we'll move to our next part of today's program. We have a special presentation on the upcoming festival of, you know what's coming up in July? Rath Yatra, yes. It is our annual celebration, and this year is going to be our 52nd year for Rath Yatra. So it's our temple's biggest festival, and the only time in the year where we take our beloved deities, Jagannath, Baldev, and Subhadra, out of the temple. And they'll be going on a parade down the Young Street. I'm sure you all have heard about Young Street, for especially those newcomers or who might be not familiar with our festival. It's one of the busiest streets in Toronto. We'll be having the parade go down the Young Street, and there'll be festivities over 2 days at the Central Island. And this has been our trademark location for many, many years now. So over 2 days, we'll have a lot of grand festivities, Kirtan and Prashadam. And we're going to hear more about that from